Happy Thursday, everybody. I pray all is well. My name is Michael Gibson, and I'm talking about why I go to church. I'm calling this to become the image. I strongly believe that he who controls the image controls the person. He who controls the image controls the person. So I believe that God's will was to see his will be done on this earth as it is in heaven. The will is a tricky thing because the will is the one thing that God doesn't control. You have the ability to control your own will. God gave every person free will. So he who controls the image usually controls the will. So again, God has given every man free will, and he who controls the image controls the person. Well, images, where are they produced? We see through our eyes. We don't see with our eyes. The things that we see in our eyes is because our mind is processing and calculating and sending out a signal for us to be able to visually see it. So the image, he who controls the image controls the person. The word says, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. And when it referenced that, it was talking about the heart, it was talking about the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind. Our mind is made up of our soul is made up of our mind, will, and our emotions. Well, God already stated that he's given every man free will, so he won't go against your will. So your mind, your will, and your emotions. So he who controls the image plays with your emotions and can change your will, what can ultimately set the course of your mind, which will inevitably train your subconscious. Hey, Wayne, thank you for stopping by. So your subconscious mind is the thing that sits below the conscious mind. The subconscious mind is the thing that sits below the conscious mind. So whatever you consciously keep in front of you, whatever image you constantly keep in your ears, whatever image you constantly keep before your eyes, if you watch enough of that image, eventually it will be downloaded into your subconscious mind. I'm going to repeat that. Whatever you keep in front of your conscious mind the longest eventually gets downloaded into your subconscious mind. And once it is downloaded into your subconscious mind, it becomes a part of the operating system. The operating system, the way you operate, the way you process, the way you think, the way you actually see. Because you see through your eyes, you don't see with your eyes. So the information that is downloaded on your subconscious will determine what actually you see. Because people can see a glass as half empty or half full. But truth be told, a glass is always full. It can have half water, but it's always full because it's full of air and water. So a glass really is never empty because it's full of something. But the way we process, the way we think, the way we go through gathering information, and you see a glass, we can say that glass is half full. Well, that's half full of water because the glass is full of air. And the more water you put in, the less air that is in it. So what I'm talking about, he who controls the image controls the person. So I want to become the thing that I see the most, because in order for it to get into your subconscious, you must consciously view it. You must consciously partake of it. You must consciously surround yourself around the thing that you want to subconsciously become. Many people sit and watch programming. Many people sit and listen to things that is programming their conscious mind, not realizing that inevitably whatever was in your conscious mind will be downloaded into your subconscious mind. Well, because I know that he who controls the image controls the person, because I know God gave me my own free will, the image that is in front of me will mess with my emotions. So in order for me to be emotionally safe, in order for me to be emotionally sound, in order for me to move properly, I must put things that won't hurt my emotions. I must put things in front of me that will boost my emotions, to boost my esteem, and actually make me feel like I am worthy of becoming something positive. So I put the word before me because I believe the image that I am trying to become is like Christ-like. Christ-like. So if I want to be Christ-like, I must put the image of Christ in front of me. Because like I said, whatever you watch consciously enough eventually gets downloaded into your subconscious. I don't know how many times you have to consciously watch something for it to be put into your subconscious, but I know whatever's in your subconscious basically becomes the rudimentary, the fundamental, the operating system of your life. If you want the operating system of your life to be Christ-like, then you must put Christ-like things in front of your eyes, because he who controls the image controls the person. He who controls the mind, will, and emotions of somebody, the soulish parts of that person, controls that person. See, there's a writer named Joyce Myers. She wrote a book called The Battlefield of the Mind, that God wanted his will to be done on the earth through man. God wanted his will to be done on earth through man. So in order for man to do his will, man had to put the image of God, the will of God, before his eyes. Because if he kept the will of God before his eyes, then that will program his conscious mind, which will get downloaded into his subconscious mind, which eventually will allow man to move in whatever direction he's moving into. The battleground is always going to be our mind. Our mind is so powerful because we move in the direction of our most dominant thought. Now, I've said this before, but I just really wanted to reiterate this point, that he who controls the image controls the person. So if I want God to control the image of me, to control my subconscious mind, then I must make a conscious effort. I must make a conscious decision to dine on the word, to feast on the word, to eat the word. I must make a conscious decision that to consume enough of this word that my subconscious programming, the thing that guides and filters the way I make decisions, because what is in your subconscious programming, that's who you are. Because as a man thinketh in his heart, as a man thinketh in his subconscious mind, so is he. You wonder why people are doing the things that they are doing, and you're like, I never thought them to be that type of person. That's because you didn't see them in the subconscious mind. Subconsciously, whatever was going on in that person eventually comes out in manifestation in that real person's life. So that's what the Bible says, the scripture says, as a man thinketh in his heart, as a man thinketh in his subconscious mind, so is he. Because the things that are in our subconscious mind eventually becomes the program of our life. If you don't want your life to be programmed by chaos, if you don't want your life to be programmed by drama, if you don't want your life to be programmed by nonsense, then you cannot consciously consume, eat, dine, feast on things that are full of drama. You cannot constantly eat, feast, dine on things that is full of negativity. If you constantly eat those things, eventually it'll get downloaded on the inside of you. So I go to church because I want the word of God to be what I dine on subconsciously. Subconsciously. So when the enemy comes in like a flood, it says that God will raise up a standard. Well, there can be no standard of God if the standard of God is not in your subconscious mind. Because what you watch consciously eventually goes into your subconscious mind. So the battleground is the mind. We just forget sometimes that the battleground is the mind. We think that we can mindlessly watch things. We think we can mindlessly consume things. Hey, Roz, we think that we can mindlessly just do things and say that it is not affecting you. What I want to tell you is that what you watch consciously, repeatedly, gets downloaded on your subconscious mind. And whatever's in your subconscious mind creates an image or a blueprint of how we live our life. So if you want the blueprint of your life to look differently, then you must change the thing that you are repeatedly watching consciously. Because like I said, I don't have any scientific evidence to tell you how long it takes for an image to be downloaded into your subconscious. But what I do know factually, if you watch that thing long enough, if you consume that thing long enough, it will become a part of you. I've heard often said that who you listen to, you think like. Who you listen to shapes your destiny. Who you listen to, you ultimately become. The reason is because you are processing those things consciously. Then in your subconscious mind, they're being downloaded into your spirit or the soulish part of you, and they mess with the emotional side of you. Because like I said, hey, Aunt Baby Sis, happy belated birthday. Like I said, your soulish part of you is your mind, your will, and your emotions. God has given us all free will. So everything that is on the image is messing with your emotion, your emotional state. If I can get you emotionally charged one way or another, I can get your will and get you to move, because the enemy of your faith and the architect of your faith is speaking to the images that it puts in front of you. It is using media to manipulate you. Media is not just, the things that you hear. Media is the thing, like medium, the thing between you and man. It says the thing between God and man is Jesus Christ. The mediator, the medium between God and man is Jesus Christ. But also, in order for Jesus Christ to be the mediator between you and God, you must have a desire and a heart to search after God so that you can accept Christ. And it's not just accepting Christ, it's following Christ. It's one thing to raise your hand and say, God, forgive me for all my sins and I love you. That don't make your life roses. That don't make your life work properly, because if you don't follow Christ and if you don't obey the things that God says, and if you don't move when he says move, you'll have in your life what you had in your life before you raised your hand. Let me explain. If you have any type of addictive personality, let's say you like to eat cookies before you go to bed. You like to have sweet treats before you go to bed. Well, if you say eating these cookies and eating this ice cream before I go to bed is putting a few pounds on my body. If you don't change the way you think about eating cookies and ice cream before you go to bed, you can say, God, thank you for saving my life. If you don't do something different, you're going to be gaining weight after you say, God, thank you for saving my life. So if that thing is just not cookies and ice cream, if that thing is stealing, lying, cheating, sexing, gambling, alcohol, whatever it is, whatever that thing is that you repeatedly do, and you say, I give my heart to God, if you don't renew your mind, if you don't change your pattern of thinking, if you don't put a different image in front of you, then your behavioral model will go into whatever thing you've been doing. Because just giving your heart to Christ is like the first step. It's like the first step. But following God takes more than giving your heart to him. You actually have to become regimented. You actually have to become disciplined. You actually must make a conscious effort to eat on the things that pertain to God. Because like I said, he who controls the image, or she who controls the image, or whatever controls the image, controls the person. Whatever you consciously consume, if you consume it enough, will be downloaded into your subconscious. So I go to church because I want my subconscious to be correct. I want my subconscious to be correct. Because what I'm learning is what I have downloaded in my subconscious, that controls the emotions of my outwardness. So if I know that God has called me to be something great, when someone says something that is counter to what I believe God is saying about me, I won't download it into my spirit, because I recognize that goes against what I've already put in my subconscious mind. Because like I said, as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. If you have someone that believes that they are a champion, they will act like a champion. They will perform like a champion. They will behave like a champion. So when someone tells them that they're not a champion, they're not affected by it because they have downloaded that into their subconscious mind, so their emotions are not being affected. Listen, God's will be done on the earth if we submit our will to him. And the only way I know to submit your will to him, to get under the consciousness of what God is wanting you to do, is you got to be around it. You got to consume it. You got to keep it before your ears. You got to keep it before your eyes. You got to keep it even when you don't feel like going, even when you don't feel like reading, even when you don't feel like hearing another praise song, even when you don't feel like going because it's raining outside or it's cold outside. You have to make a conscious decision that I want to keep the godly image in front of me. Because I promise you, if you keep that image in front of you, it will eventually get programmed in your subconscious mind. Many people are putting things because they're saying, I just want to check out for a second. I just want to let my hair down for a second. If you repeatedly put nonsense in your checkout time, eventually that gets programmed in your subconscious mind. Eventually, whatever you consume consciously enough gets downloaded into your subconscious mind. And whatever is downloaded into your subconscious mind becomes the program for your life. So I consistently try to dine on this word because I want the things of God. I want the image of God to be the program of my life. Because I know when you have a computer, it is hard to change the operating system once it is on there. It's hard to wipe out things on the hard drive of a computer. Because when you're not using a program on a computer, it doesn't mean that the programming doesn't exist. I'm going to repeat that. When you're not using a program on a computer, it doesn't mean that the program is not on the computer. All you have to do is hit the right button and that program opens up. And it works just like it did if you were using it every single day. And what I'm discovering is that what the enemy is doing, we have downloaded some subconscious behavior that we didn't realize that we had downloaded, and it didn't get wiped out totally. So when the situations arise and that program got open, whatever it was, it is fully functional just like it was as if you were doing it every single day. God has called us to get delivered from some things, but you can't get delivered from some things if you don't put the right thing in front of you. You can't get delivered from some things if you don't confess that it was a thing in the first place. I don't know what your thing is, but I do know in order for you to get delivered from your thing, you must first confess that it is a thing and present it to God and say, God, give me some new information. Because if you eat on the new information, that new information will get downloaded into your subconscious mind. And when it gets downloaded into your subconscious mind, it will begin to rewrite the program that was there before. You got to replace some of these bad programs that are in our subconscious mind. You might say they don't exist, but when the right circumstance comes and that situation arises, if it comes out and if it's something counter to what you think is productive, you got to say, God, give me a way to rewrite this program. Give me a way to erase this program because I don't like it. So closing a program out and not using it does not erase it off the hard drive of our life. It doesn't erase it off the hard drive of our life. So if you have a situation that you haven't dealt with, if the right circumstance happens, if the right button is pushed, you know what will happen? That thing will open right up just like it was brand new. Yes, we need to update our programs and our apps. We have to do that because what I'm saying is we got some old applications on our iOS, and then we're like, I didn't mean to open that. But see, that's what I call triggers. So you didn't realize that you had a trigger there. You didn't realize there was some unresolved issue there. What I'm telling you is this: whatever you consciously consume eventually gets downloaded onto your subconscious. And once it gets downloaded into your subconscious, it becomes part of your operating system. If you want your operating system to look like Christ, if you want your operating system to look like a disciplined learner, then you have to make a conscious effort to consume the things that a disciplined learner would do. For instance, if you want to be healthy, then you must consciously change your diet. You must consciously burn more calories than you take in. Typically, people that want to get healthy, what they do is put themselves in a situation where they change the things that they consume, and they put themselves in a situation where they begin to exercise, move their body to burn calories. What I'm telling you is, if you want a Christ-like physique, you got to move your body from just sitting on the couch watching whatever it is you're watching, and start watching the things of God. You got to start exercising and moving your muscle, your godly muscle. If you want more godly muscles, you must go to the gym and begin to exercise them. You must stop consuming the things that are negative and consume more of the things that are positive. Then you will see a change in your physique. I'm trying to change my spiritual physique to match what I see in this book. I think that's the moral of the story. He who controls the image controls the person. But what you consciously consume eventually gets downloaded on the subconscious level. And it says, as a man thinketh in his heart, as a man thinketh in his subconscious mind, so is he. So my question that I have for you, what are you consciously consuming? Your discipline should match your destiny. Precisely. You can't say that you want to be healthy and you eat fast food every day. If you eat fast food every day, I don't care if it's Chick-fil-A and Chipotle, things that we consider a healthier version of fast food, it's still not healthy food. Still eating a lot of processed things with high sodium and all that type of stuff. If you want to be healthy, the best way to be healthy, we all know, is to cook our own food. Then we control the ingredients that go inside of it. If you want to have a healthy life that reflects Christ-like behavior, then we must cook in Christ's kitchen. We must get the ingredients that God says we need to create a more disciplined, regimented life like Him. I'm not saying you can't watch television. I'm not saying that you can't go anywhere. That's not the point that I'm making. The point that I'm trying to emphasize is, whatever you consciously watch eventually will get downloaded onto your subconscious. And once it's in your subconscious, it becomes part of the operating system of your life. Because he who controls the image controls the person. So I go to church because I really want a godly image. I want God to be programmed on my subconscious, because what's in your subconscious mind, you do a second nature. This is how you respond. This is how you think when pressure hits you. Because whatever you do enough is how you will perform when pressure hits you. So if you're used to working under strenuous circumstances and situations, and you're the type of person that just screams and yells and outbursts, well, when pressure hits you, that's how you're going to respond. If you learn to operate in these type of circumstances, and you like, I'm going to be rational, I'm going to take a breath, I'm going to walk away so I can respond accordingly, that's how you will respond. We got to start practicing how we want to perform. We can't show up at the game and never practice. You can, but the best players I know practice and work out way before they ever hit the court, way before they ever get on the field, way before they ever get on stage. They put in more work behind the scenes than they actually put in front of the camera, in front of their audience. If you want to perform for God, if you want to be all that God has called you to be, it's just not about Sunday service. You got to do this thing on a consistent basis. You got to put in the type of level of practice, just like athletes do. Their game on Sunday is only 3 to 4 hours on a football, but they watch film, they eat right, they go to the training room, they do all these things behind the scene in order for them to perform on Sunday. If you want a true relationship with God, you got to go to church every single day. I've said this hundreds of times. We are the body. The church is just the building that we congregate to fellowship together. But really, we are the body. We are Christ's body. We are the church. We are the ecclesia. Whatever name you want to put in front of it. And if we want Christ's body to look like we believe it should, then we must make a conscious effort to dine on the things that pertain to him. But this is Michael Gibson, and it's Why I Go to Church. Because I know that he who controls the image controls the person, and I want to make a conscious decision to consume the things of God so that my subconscious mind can walk out the things of God. This message has blessed you. I ask that you share it out. Thank you for tuning in today. Be blessed.